Nemo, Fano, Cruz, Sanfilippo, and Heineke.
Sanfilippo's a good one.
And I'll tell you what, I said the secondary hadn't seen anything. That's from a passing standpoint, because if they don't stop Edwards on the opening play, he's going 90. Football now at the 31. 7-yard pickup by Edwards. The pitch is bad, and the Barons have it. The pitch went back to Lawan Edwards up by his ear. Bad pitch, no handle. Barons have it.
Edwards got off the ball real quick as the offensive line, but it was a bad pitch. Actually Edwards
not
hit him
bad.
in the hand.
Yeah, not a bad pitch, up at his eyes. Higher than you'd want it.
Yes.
Not terribly bad.
No, it hit him in the hand.
But it wasn't ideal. Still, I'll put the onus on. Edwards should have caught that.
Well, I put the onus on a little bit of both of them. Edwards should have caught that, but ideally you want that pitch right so he can keep stride.
And it was a bullet too. That pass was on a line. In any case, regardless of who should have done what, Barons have the football at the 29. This is Sanders. Sanders trying to turn the corner. Slips the tackle by Edwards, gets caught from behind, goes down, but gets a nice pickup on the play.
Sanders is a nice, nifty back, and it was two wide receivers willing on the right side of the field, but that time it was a sprint draw. The last time they ran that formation, they ran crossing patterns and then picked up a lot of yardage on a nice throw.
It'll be 2nd down and about a yard. They'll need to get to the 19, and they're already beyond the 20-yard hash mark, so that ought to give you an idea of how close they are to a first down. 5:57 left, clock ticking. We're in the first quarter, 7-0. Barons already lead this football game as Otis and Sanders in the backfield, I formation. Morris pitches back. Sanders got the block from Otis, and he's got a first down to the 10. Nice block by Otis. That helps bring it.
And it was a nice seal block by Ricky Quintana at a wide receiver position.
Well, when you got the man out in front, first you got the fullback, 33. Watch him. He's going to help make that hole. By creating that hole, he's got an avenue to run.
That's exactly what they're trying to do when you pitch it, and those offensive linemen are pulling.
And I'll bet number 6, Stanley Evans, has given up a few pounds to Mr. Woodrow Otis III. Football at the 10, first, and actually they'll say it's 1st and 10 just beyond the 10, so they can actually get a first down and not score. But if they're going to get that far, as Sanders twists, turns, gets inside the 5.
Well, one thing you cannot do is give a nice offensive-minded team like the Barons good field position, and that's exactly what the Bruins have given them. The pulling guard, number 75, he's following him, and it's a nice block.
But he ran a lot of yardage left and right rather than up the middle because it was not a huge gain. It looked like he ran 15 yards. He only gained 7. And that's 7 good yards towards the goal line. Football now at the 3, gain of 7 for Sanders. He's picked up a bundle as it's 2nd and goal, or 2nd and 3 rather. It's Sanders again, untouched. Sanders does all the work after the fumble. Pickups of 9, 10, 7, and 3. Pater.
The Barons have scored the first 2 times that they have gotten their hands on the ball. One time on a fumble and another time, the first time on a nice long drive of about 47 yards or 57 yards.
59 yards.
59 yards.
Kick is good. It's 14-0 in favor of the Fountain Valley Barons with 4:32 left in the first quarter. And the touchdown, it's going to show a young man that's got some good blocking and some good moves. Nice cut back there. Gets the block from Otis.
Untouched in the end zone. Went by Isaiah Sapau.
The drive, 4 plays, 29 yards, excuse me, after the fumble recovery by the Barons.
Everybody up for the kickoff.
And so the Bruins, who showed just flashes of brilliance offensively, remember, they've only had the football for three offensive plays, and there's 4 minutes and 32 seconds left in the first quarter. Fountain Valley, on the other hand, they've reeled off 11 plays, scored twice, have picked up, let's call it 90 yards almost. Well, the offense already put in a night for Fountain Valley. Wilson's offense just waiting to get on the road. The kick by Carter, a deep one, as Edwards fields it at the 1, gets hit at the 10, but can't slip the tackle. Nice hit for Fountain Valley, and all fired up for the Barons, number 29, Andre Summersall, as he makes the play.
And he looked like he tried to take the ball out of LaJuan Edwards' hand.
Well, it's a good hit right here. Watch Summersall, boom, kind of neckties him. I think he was just trying to grab onto anything, not just a football jersey, give me anything.
It was a nice open field tackle.
Edwards gets it out to the 14-yard line, and that's where the Bruins will begin. Again, for the second time, absolutely lousy field position, as Edwards trying to break a block, break a tackle, excuse me, can't do that, as he gets brought down in Ultimate Wrestling or Ultimate Fighting Challenge Championship style. I mean, he got brought down with a forearm shiv, it looked like.
Had a chance to visit the Bruins practice last week. They were really fired up, a lot of enthusiasm. First-year coach Greg Gibson. Have these guys really ready to play. They seem a little nervous here early in the game, though.
Downstairs, I see Gene Bullengel coming on to take a look at this game, as they have a matchup with both these teams. So Gene from Los Alamitos is here, as again the offense nothing on this series.
We haven't seen the double wing T formation thus far. We have seen a power I employed by the Bruins from an offensive standpoint. The offensive linemen are foot to foot, no gaps, and the fullback is almost a couple of feet in back of the quarterback.
Oh, Isaiah Sapao ran that last play for -3. It's now 3rd and 13 from the 11. Straight drop back. Brambilla has a man, it's incomplete. He was trying to get it in the hands of Derek Young. Brambilla nearly got it right on the money, and that'll bring up 4th down. Whoa, no. Backwards for the Bruins.
Yes, we saw the double wing T formation for the first time with the one back, and they decided to pass on 3rd down. Of course, we won't see that very often because Greg Gibson will have none of that. He says Woody Hayes is his influence offensively. Run the football and run it down their throat. They haven't done it yet so far.
Well, Brambilla, who kicks off, who quarterbacks, is also back to punt. He's their all-purpose guy, apparently. Probably doing yearbook photos. 2:40 left as Fountain Valley prepares to get the football back, and they're going to get it in, once again, excellent field position as Sanders retreats, gets it at the 45, slips one tackle, gets to the 41. So return of 4 for Sanders.
Actually, it was a nice punt, even though the Barons have good field position. They had good hang time, but a couple of tackles were slipped, and he got a few extra yards.
So the football at the 41, Wilson's 41. Look at the field position that Fountain Valley has begun their drives. They began at their own 41, the 29 of Wilson, and the 41 of Wilson. Those are their 3 drive starting points. Pass. Got a man, complete to the 4. The grab made by Perez. That's twice. If Perez stays on his feet, he can score a touchdown, but he holds on, most importantly.
That's what he does. Now, this is triple receivers to the wide side of the field. The play-action pass, and it was a nice throw. The middle receiver went just straight up the field and beat the free safety.
Oh, my. Perez makes the grab, the football inside the 10, all the way to the 5-yard line.
Jason Morris has shown versatility, Willie, not only running the football, but throwing it.
Plus 36 on the play. Football now at the 5, first and goal. Already over 100 yards in offense for Fountain Valley. I'm sure it doesn't hurt the fact that they've had excellent field position to start off with. And touchdown, Woodrow Otis, who celebrated after his initial score of the 1997 campaign, kind of plays it like he's done it before this time, kind of casual.
Well, after you do it a couple of times, you can afford to be casual, especially if you have a 20-0 lead with only a minute and 34 left in the football game and you're on someone else's field.
The drive, 2 plays, 41 yards. Thus far, it's been all Fountain Valley. They're missing a blocker. Technically, that's got to be a flag because you have an offensive lineman moving to the line of scrimmage. You can't have that. 72 was late. He was so late. I don't know how wide our camera shot was, but it was pretty classic. I believe that's an ineligible player. If we look at the wide angle, before we roll it, well, let's look at the touchdown first. We'll look at the touchdown. Watch Otis. Otis, the football. The defense goes right by him. Hey, guys, it's the guy with the football you want to tackle. .134 left first quarter, and it's about to be 21-zip if the Barons connect, and it appears that they do.
Well, the Barons have scored the first 3 times they've gotten their hand on the football. And the Bruins fumbled, and then it was forced to punt, and each time they've given it to the Barons, they've scored. And the Barons have done it both with the run and the pass. They look very impressive. And then on the second drive of the Bruins, they stopped the run. So you couldn't ask for a better start in George Berg's 7th year in Fountain Valley as head coach. And not an auspicious start for Greg Gibson, his first year as the Wilson coach. His worst nightmare, giving up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter already.
In the game for Wilson, 6 plays offensively, 18 yards of offense. That's 3 yards a clip. How about Fountain Valley, though? 13 plays, 129 yards of offense, 3 touchdowns. The significant stat, though, is not in there. That is the average start of an offensive series for both teams. Wilson has been starting in terrible field position. Edwards at the 4. Edwards past the 20. A nice return for Edwards. And although not great starting position, it's the best they've had.
It certainly is the best they have. They've had, and it was nice kickoff coverage by the Barons. Because if you let Edwards have any breathing room, it'll be 6.
So a 20-yard return from the 4 to the 24, and that's where this offensive drive will begin. 1st and 10 for the Bruins. Let's see if they can get the offense moving, which it did in that first drive. Edwards slips a couple tackles, get into the secondary, gets driven down after the 30, out to the 32, call it the 33. Nice pickup. We'll make it the 32-yard line as watch Edwards here, starting from the right wing back all the way across.
Nice little stiff arm in the back. Then someone goes after the football and another person goes after the football. But meantime, Edwards picks up 7.
Again, the offense moving as they did in the first drive. Now they've got to be careful to hold on to it. What they did not do in the first drive, they lost the handle on it, gave it back to the Barons, and they scored. Edwards gets it, cuts back. Nice move by Edwards. He's going to be something to watch this season.
He started this time, Willie, at the wing back position, and he keeps his eyes up because he's looking for a blocking scheme, a corridor up there, and he makes a nice cutback. But it was a nice open field tackle by the safety for the Barons. Otherwise, it would have been more yardage. Look at it. Nice cutback. He has a nice seam. Number 77, Raymond Ransom, came up with a nice block.
1st and 10 from the 45. It's Edwards again. Edwards, who's been the featured back, and we know why, as he's across midfield. The Bruins' first visit to Fountain Valley territory. And
now
that is significant.
It's very significant coming from his wing back position. The question is, as I said in the pregame, Willie, whether he's going to be durable enough to carry 30 times.
Well, that's the end of the first quarter. It has been all Fountain Valley till now as they have taken a 21-0 lead, but the Bruins are awakening out of their hibernation. Hopefully not too late. End of the first quarter, 21-0 Fountain Valley. High School with the Fountain Valley Barons, the visitors out of the Sunset League, leading at 21-0 over the host Wilson Bruins. I'm Willie Padilla along with me, Earl Parker, on that 2nd down and 4 play. It was a pickup of 0 for Lawan Edwards, but he has been somewhat spectacular in this game thus far when he has had the opportunity. And now with 3rd down and 4 coming up, big play for the Bruins. Edwards has carried the football on all but 1 play. It's the option knocked out of Morris's hands, or excuse me, out of the quarterback for Wilson. That's Brambilla's hands. Morris, the quarterback of Fountain Valley. And as I mentioned, on the first drive, they forgot to hold on to the football, and they nearly did the same thing here. Brambilla, somebody's helmet hit that.
Somebody's helmet hit. It was poor blocking by the offensive line to allow someone to penetrate the offensive line for the Bruins.
We're now in the 2nd quarter. Brambilla's punt, a high one, fielded at the 23. Sanders has it. Nice move to the right side. Down the sideline. Sanders cuts back. Still on his feet. Finally driven down, but not till he gets near midfield. Wow.
Now watch the coverage here. The punt coverage is excellent, and you don't need much when you have a speedy back like that. You can hardly see it, but he slips 1 block, but he's getting some good ones. Number 50 for the Bruins almost had him, but he turned on the burst of speed, and he picks up, looks like about 25 yards after he gets the punt.
1st and 10 from midfield. Return of 27 for Sanders, doing it all. And timeout is called for Fountain Valley. We'll take a break. 10:23 left, 2nd quarter, 21-0 Fountain Valley.
I never thought it could happen to me. I had my whole life ahead of me, and I didn't think that I
Terribly ignite, but thus far haven't seen a sustained flame, so to speak. The offense, it looks like there's the spark, but no gas.
And they didn't help themselves by fumbling the ball twice and killing drives. One resulted in a turnover. The other one killed a 3rd down opportunity.
Meanwhile, Fountain Valley couldn't have it going any more their way in their season opener, as offensively they've owned the park. Overall, 13 plays, 129 yards of offense. They've scored every time they've had the football. Talk about starting in excellent field position. They start at midfield as the pass is complete and down the sideline for Schutz. And Schutz inside the 20 on a gain of 30.
And it was just a little hitch pattern. And the cornerback really has to come up with that tackle. Otherwise, you'll see the results of it. Just a straight drop back, a little hitch pattern. The cornerback has to give ground, but you got to come up with that tackle.
That's an important tackle right there. He went down to the ankles and barely even touched him.
And Flaherty gets hammered as he goes to pursue the ball.
It's 1st and 10 from the 20. Fountain Valley. 1 play, 30 yards. Let's see what they do this time. They're running the option as Morris calls his own number.
And why not? He's got 4.6 speed in the 40. He was a JV quarterback last year, Willie, and he came through the program. Coach George Berg tells me, and you don't have to be shaky to give the responsibilities of quarterbacking to a guy who's been through the program that long.
And you saw speed there. He got out of bounds in a hurry before one of the Bruins could get a hold of him. But that's what you want. You don't want your quarterback to get injured. And there's a whole season ahead. Got to play it smart. Football at the 16, pickup of 4. 2nd and 6. From the 16, fake to Sanders. The pass, man wide open, dropped, and a flag goes down as the pass was intended for David. That's Helenihi. And Helenihi dropped the football, but a flag was thrown in the secondary. I'm wondering if it's holding against the Bruins.
I think it may be defensive holding against the Bruins on his cornerback, but it is. It looked like the tight end went out there in the flat.
Well, the holding took place at about the 5, further down from where the receiver missed the pass. As Helenihi dropped the pass, but much further downfield, there was a hold against the defense, and that's going to move the football just that much closer, as if the Barons need any help at this point.
Well, Morris employed a play-action pass, a fake to the tailback, and the tight end was open, wide open, but the ball was a little underthrown, but he should have had it. But that was nullified because of the penalty.
Football at the 7. First and goal. All kinds of options for Morris, the quarterback, and he gives it to Otis, and this time Otis without a golden path to the end zone as he's had the last couple times.
Well, if the Wilson Bruins will have any chance in this football game, they're going to have to stop him with not even a field goal at this point. And that looks a little precarious.
Apparently that was not Otis. Could have been one of their other fullbacks. 21 would be the likely candidate, Quintana. 2nd and goal, again from the 7. Morris calls his own number, and down he goes. Well, not as quickly as I called it, but he went down nevertheless.
They're running to the short side of the field, but they still have big number 12, Aaron Carter, 6'3", 185-pound wide receiver. And he's a big target. They may go to him on this series in a little post or look-in pattern.
Well, right now, a very big series defensively building for the Bruins. They've stopped Fountain Valley now twice from the 7-yard line on 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, now 3rd and goal from the 7. The Bruins, maybe they can get a little bit of a spark from the defense if they can hold the Barons here. Fountain Valley, all they've done is score on their first 3 drives. A flag is down. The pass nearly intercepted. It looked like it was batted up in the air by Aaron Carter. Carter must have just been turning around as he put his hands up almost in a defensive position, and the pass incomplete. Let's check the flag. That was an odd ending to the play, and then it was nearly intercepted on top of that. I'm thinking it's against Fountain Valley, but a captain from neither team has been invited. It is against Fountain Valley, and will they accept it? After all, it was an incomplete pass. Taking a look again. Watch the play here. Watch the end of the play as the pass. Carter apparently just turned around because he put his hands up in a defensive position. And then, as I mentioned, it was nearly picked off, nearly coming up with it, Stanley Evans. And the call is declined. So it's 4th and goal.
Wilson needs to block this field goal to have any chance in this football game.
I disagree. Just the fact that they've stopped him from scoring a touchdown is already a big feather in their cap, because the first 3 times Fountain Valley had the football, like a hot knife through butter, they went right through the Wilson defense. So holding them from the 7 on 3 consecutive plays was big. It'd be huge, though, if they do block this kick. But the Bruins will have to settle for big.
And now they have to score 4 times to get to go ahead in this football game. That's why I felt that if they blocked the punt, it would only be 3 times they would have to score to tie. Now they'll have to score 4 times to get back in this football game.
Unless, of course, they
point counterpoint on that.
They missed point counterpoint.
But that's really nullified, and I'm sure you'll agree, Willie. The Bruins will have to do something offensively to get back in this football game. They have 7:47 early in the 2nd quarter. If they can score a couple of times, this is a new football game. Even once would help.
Indeed. Well, even once is going to be necessary. The kick, Edwards fields it at the 4. Edwards gets a block, slips a tackle, then a flag goes down. We'll have to check the flag. I've got an inkling it's against the Bruins, however.
Let's see if we can pick up this penalty. And it's something you hate to see from a coaching standpoint. Someone probably clipped. Now, Lawan Edwards doesn't need a whole lot of help.
Well, that was a nice takedown from that point, but the flag's going to come up here. Actually,
it's a hold.
That may have been the flag on that takedown. Let's see if maybe somebody caught him. Number 21 appears to be the guilty party for the Bruins. That would be Travell Brown.
One point that needs to be made here, Willie, is that the Bruins like to run the football. That means it's a little tougher for you to get back in the football game when you're 24 points down. But when you have Lawan Edwards, who could break one probably all the way, it can help.
1st and 10. Edwards gets the football. On the 12, 1st and 10.
The Barons return more people on their defensive front, Willie, than they did on their offensive front. There's some linebackers came back this year and some cornerbacks. They're pretty experienced from a defensive standpoint.
Under 7 minutes left as the give went to Edwards, and you want to talk about a complete misdirection. I was looking with the offense going far side, and it was coming near side as Edwards able to get the 1st down.
You got to